Hello and welcome back. Today we are doing a quick take review on Paula's Choice Pro Retinaldehyde Dual-Retinoid treatment. First off, I love the packaging. It's pretty. It is an airless pump design, so it has a little platform that will pump out every last drop. It does make it trickier to recycle, but at this point in this channel, you should know how to pop the components apart and get it prepped for recycling. It is a very vivid yellow retinoid color. And it's just a light to midweight lotion texture, nice and creamy, moisturizing, which is good. We want that in a retinoid product so that it's going to be easy on the skin, tends to replace some of the moisture that higher strength retinoids can take from us just by that kind of dryness sensitivity. This is definitely something, well, the Pro is kind of silly. It is a high potency product. So I wouldn't jump into this as a total retinoid naive person. This would be for someone who has tried other retinoids for some time and then wants to step up their game or isn't seeing the results that they want and just wants to try something with a little more oomph to it. This would be a good option for that. It is a gentle release or delayed release microencapsulation, so it's going to prolong the effect of the retinoids that are in it, as well as make them a little more tolerable to skin as opposed to just getting the full impact of their strength right when you put it on. We'll talk a little bit about ingredients, but not real deep into retinoids because if you watch this channel, you already know all the ins and outs of these retinoids. But this does have a unique type of retinoid in it. Adapinoid is what they're calling it. It is oleoyl adapalonate, and it's 0.16% of that. Now that is an encapsulated retinoid. Adapalene is the trade name for Differin, if you're familiar with that. It was made over the counter in the US several years ago. It used to be a prescription only product targeted towards acne prone patients. Because it is a synthetic retinoid, it is not in kind of the family tree of traditional retinoids where we have like retinol and then retinal and then retinoic acid. It will never actually turn into retinoic acid. But there are retinoic acid receptors in your skin, and there are several of them. The adapalene line truly just targets two of those retinoic acid receptors. One is going to help with cell differentiation, so what each baby cell becomes in your skin, and the other is cell proliferation, so how prolific these cells are in your skin. The reason why they targeted these two for acne is because they seem to have the most profound effect on acne-prone congested skin, normalizing cell turnover, normalizing how these cells are differentiated, just sort of regulating them a little bit better and ignoring all the other retinoic acid receptors because it lowered that irritation factor. So it makes it a little more tolerable, a little less irritation, a little less dryness, a little less just angriness from this so that acne-prone patients can get into it a little bit faster and use it more consistently without side effects. So it's really targeted on acne. Then it also has the dual retinoid part of this is 0.1% retinaldehyde. Now that is in our family tree of retinoids. It is one step away from true retinoic acid, which is the active form of this ingredient. And that means that the retinoic acid is going to hit all of the retinoic acid receptors and light them up. Because this is a 0.1% retinaldehyde, it's going to be fairly well tolerated by most people, but still, it's a decent concentration between the two of those, so you want to step into this slowly. If it's your first time using retinoid, just use it twice a week, and at nighttime, use just one pump or a pea size for your whole face and neck, and then work your way up slowly, week by week, to using it more frequently. If you're a more advanced user, you can probably just jump into it because it is microencapsulated with, they actually use an interesting encapsulation. It's hydroxyapatite. It's a calcium type molecule that occurs in bones and teeth. Very interesting encapsulation because I've never seen it in anything before, but adapalene, from what I understand, is very tricky to formulate with anyways, so that's probably why they had to use a novel encapsulation technique. So once you're worked into this, you are getting both a strong dose of a selective retinoid that's just going to focus on cell proliferation and cell differentiation, which is going to help with our more acne-prone patients. And you're going to get a decent dose of all the retinoic acid receptor triggers from that retinoic acid itself once it breaks down from retinaldehyde. So it's going to do a lot of good things for you, but this definitely has an acne focus to it. I like that it's a simple formula. It's not trying to be everything. That's something that Paula's Choice gets called out a lot for, is kind of kitchen sinking it, of let's throw a bunch of different actives in each formula, which I kind of like because, you know, I like a multifactorial product, but they do get some flack for that because you never know if it's really the active that they put on the label that's doing the work, or if it's just this a really well-rounded, beautiful formula. I love a beautiful formula, so I'm never going to call them out for that, but that's just a little point. In this case, it is a very simple formula so that you're able to work this in very carefully into whatever routine you have, and it will work for a variety of different routines. I'm coming to like that in a retinoid. I want it to be, a well-balanced formula, a nice stable formula, one that doesn't pill, one that just works into the skin nicely and doesn't fuss with other formulas. And they've done that really well here. It's got some soothing ingredients like jojoba and some other moisturizing ingredients that are going to help make this a little bit more palatable to very sensitive skin types. So you can work this into a routine with lots of antioxidants or lots of exfoliants or lots of brightening ingredients and not worry that, like with Remedy, their dark spot formula, where your retinoid is built into that. So if you're still working up the chain and building up your tolerance to retinoid, you're not getting a good dose of your brightening ingredients every single night because you're still trying to work it into your routine every night. Versus this one, you could use something like this. Something that is brightening, you can use these on their own and then add your retinoid in as you see fit and as your skin tolerates it. You don't have to be bound to, oh, I'm either going to get all my brightening or get all my antioxidants and my retinoid, or I just have to skip it and use something moisturizing for tonight if my skin is feeling a little sensitive. So I like that you can mix and match this with a bunch of different other routines and not worry that you're going to miss out on your other products. It is on the pricier side. It's from their Pro line, so it's $68 for 1 fluid ounce or 30 milliliters. As far as I know, that's the only size they're offering right now. Because a viewer requested this video, I'm going to compare it to a couple specific other retinoids, but it'll draw some nice conclusions overall to a lot of different retinoid products. First off, we like it because we can mix and match it. It's going to jump in and out of routines pretty seamlessly. It's not an all-in-one formula, so you're not going to miss out on the nights that you have to skip it. Now, I ran out of the A retinoid. I don't even have an empty bottle to use as a visual aid, but here's the extra large size of Theramid's Clinical Vitamin A. So this will be my visual aid. A retinoid is the one the viewer requested that I compare to. I would say that they are fairly similar in a lot of realms. They are both a dual retinoid technology. They are both encapsulated. So we know that both of the retinoids are going to get deep into the skin where they belong. They can use a smaller concentration because they're not going to get beat up on the way down to those keratinocytes where they need to be. Both of them are a nice soothing and moisturizing base. So they are good for most skin types. It's going to help it be more tolerable. And both of them have a sufficient amount of active ingredients to see an effect. Now, the slight difference between the two would be this one has more of an acne focus with the adapalene, so not all of its components are going to hit all of your retinoic acid receptors, versus actually this product and the A-retinoate or the A-retinol retinoate, all of its retinoids are going to break down into retinoic acid ultimately. Now, there are a few different kinds of retinoids in this one and in the retinol retinoate, but ultimately, as they break apart, they're going to break apart at different speeds, which gives you more of a time release sort of effect. There's retinol and retinol retinoate. And between the two, one has 1 conversion step, one has 1.5 conversion steps, and you get some different byproducts, but it's going to get to retinoic acid ultimately on this side, which means that you're going to have a little more effect for things like anti-aging, things like pigmentation, things like inflammation, and thickening the epidermis. So very subtle difference between the Theramid line of retinoids and Paula's Choice Dual-Retinoid. This one's going to be more acne focused, and these two are going to be more broad spectrum, more anti-aging, more kind of everything. Are these bad for acne? No, they're great. Retinoic acid was the original, it's Tret. That's the original acne fighter. But if you are looking for a reason to decide between one or the other, I would say go this route if you are more acne prone and need something that's a little more tailored to that and a little bit more gentle so that you can jump into the higher strengths. If you're a little more broad spectrum or you don't get a lot of sensitivity from retinoids and you're acne prone, go the other direction. Theramid would be a perfectly fine route. Price-wise, the 1 ounce size runs $40 US dollars, and the A-retinoate runs $45 US dollars. So you're still saving about $20 going with Theramid if you just want broad spectrum retinoid activity. If you're more acne prone and your skin's a little bit more touchy, this might be worth the money for you because you're getting both that retinoic acid breakdown in a nice encapsulated form, and you're getting that novel adapalene molecule. Remember, if you put any two retinoids side by side, if they're well formulated, if you use them for a year, you're probably going to be in the same spot regardless. It's really just the onboarding and the kind of sensitivity factor. So if you can get past those in the first couple of months, whatever is going to fit your budget that you like putting on regularly and doesn't produce more irritation, I think stick with that and you will be golden. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, be well, my friend.